Hello, I'm Mike Shearer, Executive Editor of the Columbus Dispatch and Dispatch.com. I'm here today with reporter Sophia Veneziano to discuss our Sunday cover story for December 1st, 2024, about the Dispatch's annual Everyday Kindness Heroes honorees for 2024. Sophia recently started here at the Dispatch as a reporter thanks to a grant from the Center of Human Kindness at the Columbus Foundation as part of their efforts to celebrate all the positives that happen in our community and kindness, acts of kindness. So, Sophia, welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for sitting down with me today.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So, as I mentioned, the Dispatch has partnered with the Center for Human Kindness in an effort to share more positive stories about life in Central Ohio. This also includes our magazines, Columbus Monthly and Columbus CEO, which are a part of the program, and we'll also be running Sophia's content here in the coming months. So, Sophia, you've been here about 6 weeks now. You're a graduate of Ohio State. You've worked as a journalist here in Central Ohio before. How's it going so far, and what kind of stories have you been able to find about already?
Thanks for asking, Mike.
Yes.
So far, it's been good. Everyone, both in the office and in the greater Columbus community, has been so welcoming and so kind to me. As you know, I'm running and writing one kindness feature per week, and then filling in as much as I can otherwise with good news stories in the community, which has been really good. A lot of stories have been related to people actually battling cancer and then serving people in the same space and the same hardships as them, which has been really impactful and meaningful for me. And then also beyond that, there have been some stories of people with developmental disabilities, extra needs, and financial or housing insecurities, which have been really cool to cover. And then I'm excited, like you mentioned, to be getting some stories into those magazines too, and be working with that team. They've also been so kind to me.
Okay, great. So how are you going about finding these stories? How are you, you're getting tips from people, I suppose, but how is this working for you so far?
Yeah, so like with any beat, it's a lot of listening, a lot of asking questions, and really just being on the lookout in any context for something that might be a good fit. That could be, and really any conversation, asking for follow-ups, and even with, like you said, submissions from the community, even if the original pitch isn't exactly what we might be looking for, there's always a way to ask more questions and say, oh, do you know something else? Or is there a way that we can tell the story that really highlights the kindness in our community?
Well, I mean, there's so much good news that happens out there. And, I think the whole point of this program is, we have to chase certain things as journalists every day when bad things happen or big events happen, elections, etc. We don't always control the calendar of what's going on in the community and the stories we're doing. But this gives us an opportunity, and your position being, not you helped out with election coverage, you've done a few other things, but having more time dedicated to find these great stories, I think it's going to really pay off as we get into next year and you get more established and we have more opportunities to find really compelling stories. And we know they're out there. But they've been missing from our pages at times over the last few years. So.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really grateful for the Columbus Foundation for making this possible.
Yeah.
And I'm really grateful for you for bringing me on the team. So it's
our pleasure. Yeah.
It's been good.
Yeah. Well, great. All right. So let's talk about this program we have coming up here. The cover story on Sunday is about the 5 finalists for the Everyday Kindness Heroes program for 2024. And there are 14 others who also can be recognized out at the event on December 4th, Wednesday evening at COSI. And a few months ago, we started soliciting nominations from people across the region, and we received quite a few of those. And those have been whittled down to 19 people, including the 5 finalists who are profiled on the front page of the Dispatch on Sunday. And they're also profiled at Columbus Monthly. And then there are 14 others who are also going to be recognized at the event on December 4th. And their bios are will be online on Dispatch.com, and they're also in Columbus Monthly this month. But there are 5 people that, as I mentioned, have been picked as finalists. Jane Jackman-Clark, Lisa Woodward, Nicole Habert-Ford, Tracy Davidson, and Rick Brubaugh. And they, once again, are in the Sunday paper. So I thought, as I looked over the content that's running Sunday, one of the things that impressed me is the reporters who worked on, we have 5 different stories kind of merged as one by 5 different reporters here, including you, Sophia. The one line was these people work without expectation of celebration or reward. And one is even quoted as saying, I don't know why you're recognizing me, which kind of gets to the point, I guess.
Yeah.
But you wrote a story about Jane Jackman-Clark. Can you tell us a little bit about her? And we'll go through the other 4 a little bit.
Yeah, so Jane, she's just a joy. And I think she was the one who said that she didn't even feel deserving of it, or she said time and time again that there are just so many people in the community that deserve it. So, and she'll probably say that at the event too. Yes. She's wonderful. But yeah, her deservingness, if you will, is just very clear, even the way that we've been able to connect. And her story, it starts when she was a kid and she lost her mom to cancer when she was just 10 years old. And then she herself, later in adulthood, survived cancer twice. And then out of that place, she was able to, along with her husband, Kevin, start Hope Hollow, which is a nonprofit that provides lodging to people who are coming into Columbus for cancer treatment. Because this has become a big hub with all the different hospitals we have here, which is really cool. And yeah, they've restored this beautiful home here in town and invite people into it, and also buy out hotels and motels for people to stay in.
Because when a family's going through a cancer crisis like that, they're living in Mansfield or Zanesville or wherever, it's incredibly time-consuming or expensive to go back and forth or to stay here. So this is a way of helping out those families as they're going through this very difficult time.
Yeah, just ease some of the stress during, what some people it's the hardest thing they've ever had to go through.
Yeah. When cancer is just so prevalent in our community, I know my mom died from cancer, and there's so many stories out there, and her mom died from cancer too. So it's so many stories out there of people needing help. So it's great to see that being provided. Okay, and then the other four people, we're going to go walk through these here a little bit with some brief narratives of them. Lisa Woodward is the co-founder of an organization called Motherful, which operates a resource center for single moms on Agler Road in Gahanna. And that center is filled with supplies for new moms. And the story relates how a grandmother suddenly found herself with custody of her grandson, a newborn grandson, and had nothing prepared, not the normal families getting ready for a new arrival at the home. And so she called this number in the middle of the night, and Lisa answered the call. And a short time later, they were at this resource center, giving them milk and every supply they could possibly need to take care of this infant grandson. So that's a little bit about Lisa and what she's doing in the community. I was really impressed reading that one. So up next is Nicole Habert Ford and Sophia.
Yeah, so she launched the Student Success Stores along with 3 other folks, which supports the Columbus City schools and basically just gives students extra supplies that they need. And obviously, it's supporting the next generation. And she's really passionate about that. I actually got to meet her when we took the photo that you'll see. And got to chat with her a bit about that, which was really neat to hear.
Okay, great. Yeah, they're operating in all the 14 Columbus and Whitehall school buildings now. And they're basically providing not necessarily like pencils and school supplies, but things that kids need to be able to attend school, which is great. Okay. All right, up next is Tracy Davidson. This one really impressed me. So Tracy, the story describes how she was running for a 3rd term on the Westerville School Board. And she was at a meeting with a bunch of immigrant families in the Westerville School District. And one of the mothers in broken English asked her, is there anything you can do to help not only our students do better in school, but also to help us learn English and help us, help them. Obviously, if you're not speaking English, it's hard for a parent to help a child in an English school. So she heard that, and she and a few others went out and created what's called the Big Bus, which is actually a repurposed bus. But it functions as a mobile classroom that goes directly to students and their parents 3 days a week after school. They also tutor the parents during the day and then the kids after school. So I think that's just a fascinating story of a real need that Tracy and others went and filled and are now helping the community.
Then we also have Rick Rubaugh, who's a retired Columbus teacher who volunteers at Star House, which helps homeless teens here in the community, and that serves the Milo Grogan neighborhood. As many of us know, that's food, clothing, other essential items. There are lots of extra needs there. And so he helps stock shelves, helps out in any way that they need over there. And then I remember in the original submission of him, they really made a point to say that his presence is wonderful, that he just really cares so much and always has a smile on his face. So it just goes beyond actually just, the activity, but his presence is really important there for the
He's
kids.
Also a retired Columbus teacher, so he's been serving kids and folks for a long time, obviously. Yeah. All right. He's another one of the people in the story says, I don't know why I'm being recognized.
Yeah.
Well,
we got two
yeah,
for 5.
At least 2, yeah. All right. Well, so those are the 5 people that are going to be recognized in the dispatch on Sunday. They will also be in the event on December 4th at COSI. So we're really looking forward to those events and celebrating the kindness that's happening here in our community every day. And we know there's a lot more people involved. And if you know someone, we'll be doing this again next year, I'm sure. And feel free to get us a suggestion to them. Or if you don't want to wait that long, Sophia, as we talked about, is looking for ideas every week now about what's happening in the community and people she can profile in our weekly kindness page story, which is also online on dispatch.com. So if you have any ideas for Sophia to share in the community, please reach out to her. Her contact information is on articles, but the email is sveneziano@dispatch.com. I know that's a bit of a mouthful. Reach out to me, and we'll get the message to her. So anyway, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Next week on From the Editor, we'll be discussing COVID's long shadow on our public schools. Reporter Cole Behrens will be joining me for that conversation. And until then, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.